हरिः ओं तत्सत् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओं। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते गुरुपवनपुरेशाय। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। ॐ नमो भगवते कृष्णाय। हे कृष्ण गुरुपवनपुरेश नारायणमूर्ते भगवन् परमात्मन् सर्वव्यापिन् सर्वरूपिन् सर्वस्वरूपिन् सर्वाधार सर्वज्ञानाधार ज्ञानरूप ज्ञानस्वरूप रक्ष रक्ष जगदीश्वर परमेश्वर। ॐ हरिः ॐ तत्सत् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि सत्यं परं धीमहि सत्यं परं धीमहि। So we'll be starting again from the first dashakam itself. As I mentioned in my introduction previously, this Narayaniyam consisting of 100 dashakams actually have 1036 verses. And the very first dashakam consisting of 10 verses present Bhagavan's Nirguna Swarupam. When I say Bhagavan's Nirguna Swarupam forms the content of the first dashakam, so the Bhagavan whom we worship as the Lord of Guruvayur in a small place called Guruvayur, there again is such a small temple. In a small temple, again is a small sanctum sanctorum. Within a small sanctum sanctorum is a tiny little Krishna's form we worship. Actually, that Krishna whom we worship there is none other than the very reality, the absolute reality, ultimate truth, the truth of the entire universe alone is personified as Krishna, and worshipped there. And what is the truth? What is that only truth of the whole cosmos? The truth of the whole cosmos is the truth of every being here, every individual being here. Therefore, Swarupam, essential nature of the whole universe is Bhagavan. When you say essential nature, what is essential nature? That which cannot be reduced to anything else anymore. That is the essential nature. And the whole cosmos, everything here can be reduced to something. What is that ultimately which cannot be reduced anymore to anything else? That is the essential nature. So absolutely, there's nothing which is beyond Bhagavan Swarupam. Bhagavan Swarupam is beyond everything, which means distinct from everything. So it is repeatedly we're going to see in the whole Narayana will be coming across these verses later on. Bhagavan is in the form of everything. There's nothing which is not Bhagavan here. All forms are Bhagavan. All names are Bhagavan. All functions associated with all forms and names are Bhagavan. There's nothing which is not Bhagavan here. So Bhagavan is in and through pervading everything. So all pervasive is Bhagavan. So even though Bhagavan as the very truth, Bhagavan is none other than the very truth, very reality. That is why Bhagavan is essentially implied by the term Param Brahma. So the God, the Lord, the Ishvara, the Bhagavan is essentially the very truth. Therefore, that truth, that reality alone is the essential nature of Bhagavan, the whole. So Bhagavan is everything. Bhagavan alone is in the form of all the worlds. But still, Bhagavan is distinct from everything. There's nothing which is not Bhagavan here. But Bhagavan is distinct from everything. Even though Bhagavan as the truth is not distant from anything. And that non-distancibly pervasive reality, which is distinct from everything alone, is said to be what? Here, essential nature, the Swarupam. Therefore, in the very first opening Dashakam, Bhattadriji is going to present beautiful stories associated with Bhagavan. All avatarams we are going to see later on. But the opening Dashakam, the first Dashakam, Bhattadriji presents abstract, formless nature of Bhagavan. In the very opening Dashakam. That is why Prathamam Dashakam, Sriman Narayaniye Prathamam Dashakam Bhagavataha Swarupameva Varnayati. Bhagavat Swarupa Varnanam forms the content of the first Dashakam. So we'll just begin the first verse.
The one where the screen separates, isn't it?
Sandranandavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadhibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punaruru purusharthatmakam brahmatattvam tattavat bhati sakshat guru pavanapure hanta bhagyam jananam. I also want you to make a note of the chanting when you pass it, where you pass and all that. Sandranandavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadhibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punaruru purusharthatmakam brahmatattvam tattavat bhati sakshat guru pavanapure hanta bhagyanjananam. Sandranandavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadhibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punaruru purusharthatmakam brahmatattvam tattavat bhati sakshat guru pavanapure hanta bhagyanjananam. When you learn to chant properly, you have to even see other things. Sandranandavabodhatmakamanupamitam anupamitam kaladeshavadhibhyan nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punaruru purusharthatmakam brahmatattvam tattavat bhati sakshat guru pavanapure hanta bhagyanjananam. So here, the beautiful expression first given, the whole verse is very beautiful. As I mentioned even before, the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is condensed and given in this first verse. And the whole Bhagavatam is condensed and given in the whole Narayaniam. In fact, the first skandha of Bhagavatam, the Bhagavatam consisting of 18,000 verses. There, the first skandha, Prathama skandham of Bhagavatam is squeezed and given in the first 3 dashakams. So if you want to know what is there in first skandha of Srimad Bhagavatam, you must know what is there in first 3 dashakams of Narayaniyam. If you want to say briefly, that's enough. So the first skandha must be presenting Bhagavat Swarupam. So here also Bhagavat Swarupam is discussed in this first dashakam. So Bhagyam Jananam Bhagyam. Jananam Bhagyam, it's a fortune of people. It's a great fortune of people. Why? Because there's no greater fortune than discovering Bhagavan's Swarupam, obtaining as one's own Swarupam. And discovering Bhagavan's Swarupam, obtaining as one's own Swarupam is what? Actually moksha, freedom. Freedom from all limitations. So there cannot be anything greater accomplishment than discovering moksha, which is non-different from Bhagavan's Swarupam. And that Bhagavan Swarupam is shining here, bhati, shining. It is shining, therefore, it is possible for us to recognize. Something which does not shine cannot be recognized. It is possible for us to recognize because it is shining. It is available for recognition. Shines means available for recognition. How can you recognize something what is not available for recognition? If Bhagavan Swarupam is available for recognition, what shines, therefore Bhattadaji is saying it is Jananam Bhagyam. Okay, what is that Bhagavan Swarupam which is shining, which is available for recognition? Therefore it is Bhagavan, it is fortune of people. He says, he starts from the beginning. Which sort of Bhagavan Swarupam is available? Kidrisham Bhagavat Swarupam Bhati. Which sort of Bhagavan Swarupam is shining here? It is said, Sandranandavabodhatmakam na Brahma Tattvam bhati, Sakshad bhati. Brahma Tattvam, the very truth implied by the term Brahman. The reality of the universe is Tattvam. And the reality of the whole Jagat, which is Tattvam, is implied by the term Brahman. That Brahma Tattvam bhati shines. Sakshat bhati means it is very much available for recognition. Non-coverably, it is available for recognition. It is available for recognition. What sort of Bhagavan Swarupam? Brahma Tattvam, Kidrusham Brahma Tattvam bhati. He said, Sandra Ananda Avabodha Atmakam. The word Sandra has many meanings, different meanings. But here Sandra Ananda. So Anandaha means fullness, happiness, limitlessness. The word Anandaha, limitlessness, fullness, happiness. And Sandra Anandaha means absolute happiness, limitless happiness, the fullness is Sandra Ananda Avabodha. One more word is there, Avabodha. Avabodha means knowledge. This was I explained in the previous session also. For the sake of many new people, it happened to be first class, I'm repeating it. Avabodha Atmakam. Avabodha means knowledge. Atmakaha, Avabodha Atmakam Brahmatattvam. The first adjective. Sandra Ananda Avabodhatmakam Brahmatattvam bhati. So, this Brahmatattvam is absolute reality, ultimate truth, implied by the term Brahman, which is in the form of limitless happiness and knowledge. Limitless happiness, consciousness. Avabodha means knowledge. The pure knowledge, pure consciousness. So that Brahmatattvam bhati. So abstract. So the limitless happiness, pure knowledge, Brahma, implied by the term Brahmatattvam bhati. Then Anupamitam Brahmatattvam bhati. And this Brahmatattvam, this reality, implied by the term Brahman, is Anupamitam. Upamitam, comparable. Anupamitam, incomparable. Why it is incomparable? Because there's nothing which is as great and big as this reality. There's nothing which is as big and as great as this reality. Therefore, it is incomparable. And definitely, there's nothing which is greater and bigger than this reality also. Therefore, it is the biggest, it is the greatest. There's nothing which can be compared to this reality. One more reason. Not only it is bigger and greater, this reality is also incomparable because there's no second thing other than the reality. For one thing to be compared to another thing, there must be a second thing. There's no second thing here. All that is, there's only Bhagavan, only what it says, Anupamitam means this absolute reality implied by the term Brahman is incomparable because it is, there's no second thing other than this reality to compare, to be compared to. Sandra Ananda Avabodhatmakam Anupamitam Sandrananda Avabodhatmakam Anupamitam Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam. Further it is explained, Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam. So Kala Avadhihi Nasti. Desha Avadhihi also Nasti. Which means there is no limitation. Avadhihi means a period of time or a limitation also. So Kala Avadhihi Nasti means there is no time limitation. So Desha Avadhihi Nasti, there is no spatial limitation. So Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam. Muktam means free, nirmuktam, absolutely free from time and spatial limitations. Therefore, Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam. If you take in the whole Jagat, time, I explained this last week class also, time itself has time limitation, space has time limitation, and then everything else existing within the realm of time and space, of course, subject to time limitation, spatial limitation. In fact, there's nothing in the universe which is not subject to time limitation, spatial limitation. The only thing, the vastu, only reality is free from all limitations. That is why it is implied with the term Brahma. We have already seen this. But here, Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam Brahma Tattvam. So, Sandranandava Bodhatmakam Brahma Tattvam, Anupamitam Brahma Tattvam, Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam Brahma Tattvam, the Nitya Muktam Brahma Tattvam, it is ever free from all limitations, all impurities, it is free from all impurities such as Ajnanam onwards. So Ajnanat Nirmuktam, absolutely free from Ajnanam, free from bondage, free from all against caused impurities. Nirmuktam, Nityamuktam, Nityamuktam, it's ever free. Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam Brahmatattvam. Then Nityamuktam Brahmatattvam, ever free Brahmatattvam is ever free. Because freedom, limitlessness is very nature. Therefore, it is said, Nityamuktam Brahmatattvam Bhati. Nigama Shata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam. It is this reality which has to be discovered ultimately to discover freedom. Why? Because this reality and freedom are one and the same. But how can we understand this reality? Is there a pramanam to understand this reality? You need a pramanam, a means of knowledge to understand anything. Isn't it? Without a means of knowledge, it is not possible for us to know anything. To know any object in the world, you need a pramanam. And even to discover this ultimate truth also, you need a pramanam, means of knowledge. Therefore, it is said here, it is this Brahma Tattvam, Bhagavan, whom we worship as Guru Harapan, is another than Brahma Tattvam, and who has to be understood, who is revealed by many scriptural texts. Nigama Shata. Nigamaha means Veda. Vedaha. Another word for Veda is Nigamaha. So Shata is a Upalakshanam. Sahasram is also Upalakshanam. Shatam means 100. Sahasram means 1000. 100, 1000. That's Upalakshanam. Nigama Shata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam. This absolute reality which is being unfolded, which is revealed by countless texts of Upanishad literature, texts of scriptural literature. Nigama Shata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam. Nirbhasyamanam, being unfolded, being revealed. Nigama Shata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Brahmatattvam. This Brahmatattvam alone, it is this only reality which is the subject matter of all the scriptural literature. Take all the Upanishads and all the scriptural literature which reflect the Vedic vision. What is the subject matter of all the literature? Nothing but Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the only subject matter of all our scriptural literature. That is why it is called scripture, the very word scripture. Ultimately, understanding Bhagavan is the only goal. So having the knowledge of attainment of knowledge as the ultimate goal, and all teaching of all our scriptures is based on this vision of Bhagavan being the ultimate goal. Therefore, it is said here, Nigama Shata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam. This Brahma Tattvam is absolute reality, which is revealed by, alone is revealed by all our innumerable, the countless texts of scriptural literature. Nigama Shata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Brahmatattvam Tat Tavat Bhati. It is that absolute reality alone shines. Shines bhati, shines means it's available for recognition always. But where is it available for recognition? Before one more thing we have to understand, aspashtam. Aspashtam brahmatattvam. How many ever times you go and listen to any number of Vedanta classes, in the class you seem to have understood something, but still we cannot say you have not understood at all anything. You can never say. Definitely you do understand. But you understand, at the same time you can never say, yes, I have understood very well. Always there'll be, because of the abstractness, because of the subtleness, sukshmatvat, because of its subtleness, abstractness, always it remains. How much ever you listen, however long you've been listening to Shastra classes, still Brahma Tattvam is not very clear. But still, it is because of the lack of preparedness. So, see, Bhagavan, not even a fraction of second, Bhagavan is not there. Bhagavan as the reality is there as the essential nature of everything here. Where will Bhagavan go? How can Bhagavan go anywhere else? Always available for recognition. But still, it is not clear. It doesn't shine for us. It doesn't become revealed to us. That is because of the lack of preparedness on the part of the Antahkaranam. We are not adequately prepared. Some pratibandha is there. The prarabdha causes the pratibandha. Whatever karma we have in our account, the karma causes the pratibandha. And the pratibandha prevents us from recognizing this reality which is always available for in front. Very front means what? As our own Swarupam. That is why aspashtam. But still, by Bhagavan's grace, by Guru's Ashirvadam, blessings, and our own tapas of living a clean life, and all our Mahatma's blessings, Guru's blessings, Bhagavan's grace, our own Punya Karma, and our Shraddha in Shastram, the Shravanam, Mananam, Nidhyasanam, somehow finally all our appropriate, adequate efforts contribute for having the clear vision of this Brahma Tattvam. Once it is drishta matre. Once suppose the vision of the reality happens, drishta matre, punaha uru purusharthatmakam. It is this reality itself is in the form of uru purushartha. Uru purushartha atmakam means what? In the form of. It is this reality which itself is in the form of moksha. So Bhattadaji already makes it very clear, moksha and truth obtaining in Guru Harappan are not two different things. Okay, moksha is reality, reality is moksha. Why? Moksha, which means freedom. And the freedom is what? Freedom means being free from limitations. Being free from limitations means what? Limitlessness. So freedom means being free from limitations. Being free from limitations means limitlessness. Limitlessness is the swarupam of the reality. Essential nature of the reality. Therefore, reality and limitlessness are inseparable. You cannot separate heat from the fire. You cannot separate light from the sun because that's the intrinsic nature. Similarly, limitlessness and reality, Brahma Tattvam, are not separable. They're one and the same. That is why once you discover Brahma Tattvam, you have discovered moksha. They're not two different things. That is why Bhattadaji is saying here, Uru Purush, Drishta Matre Uru Purusharthatmakam. It takes time. It depends upon your preparedness. That's why we say, Uchitaihi Prayatnehi. Only because of appropriate, adequate efforts and when all grace, helps you discover this truth, obtaining as your own Swarupam. Once you discover it, Drishta Matre, in the wake of the clear vision of this very reality itself, Drishta Matre, in the wake of the clear vision of this reality, obtaining as one's own Swarupam, then Uru Purusharthatmakam, this Brahma Tattvam alone is in the form of very moksha, the absolute, the exalted of all four Purusharthas. Uru Purusharthaha, Arthaha, Kamaha, Dharmaha, Mokshaha, Shastram. Of course, when we analyze all our pursuits, we reduce all that we want to achieve in our life into four, as Artha, Kama, Dharma, Moksha. So, what is the exalted of all the pursuits? It is moksha, because pursuit of artha is ultimately for moksha. Pursuit of kama is also ultimately for moksha. So, pursuit of artha in terms of security is for your own happiness, moksha. So, enjoyment of any amount of pleasure, even a pursuit of any pleasure, whether it is a intellectual pleasure or aesthetic pleasure or sensory pleasure, any type of pleasure you want to pursue in life, pursuit of pleasure also is ultimately for happiness only. Even living a life of dharma and even performing any rituals or been practicing meditation or accumulating any amount of punyam also is ultimately, if you ask what is punyam for, what do I earn punyam for? You will say ultimately, even I'm earning punyam ultimately for moksha only. Therefore, ultimately, of all these artha kama dharmas, Uru Purusharthaha, the exalted and the absolute end is moksha only. Therefore, Uru Purushartha Atmakam Brahma Tattvam, the Brahma Tattvam which itself is in the form of moksha, in the wake of clear vision of that Brahma Tattvam, that we can understand the Brahma Tattvam itself is in the form of moksha. They're not different from that moksha. And such a Brahma Tattvam, which is moksha by itself, Uru Purusharthatmakam Brahma Tattvam Bhati. We see now all these adjectives of one Brahma Tattvam. Sandranandavabodhatmakam Sandranandavabodhatmakam Anupamitam Kaladeshavadhibhyam Nirmuktam Nityamuktam Nigamashata Sahasrena Nirbhasyamanam Aspashtam Drishtamatre Punaruru Purusharthatmakam Brahma Tattvam Tattavadbhati Sakshat. So this absolute reality implied by the term Brahman, which is of this definition, which is of this nature, this as described above by all the words above, and such a Brahma Tattvam, Sakshat Bhati. The word Sakshat is a very important word. Now, Sakshat Bhati means it is always available for recognition as very your own self, the immediate self, which means you do not require any other, you do not require anything else to know your own existence. It is not, if suppose something which is shining as an object, to see an existence of any object which is other than you, you have to make an effort. If you have to know something which is other than you, you have to make an effort. And then you also need a pramanam. Whereas to just discover your own Swarupam, the claiming of Paramatma as your own Swarupam, there's no other effort is involved. That's why Sakshat Bhati is always available for recognition as the immediate self, as one's own Swarupam, as the very content of I, as one's own self. So Sakshat Bhati means, the word Sakshat implies, emphasizes this reality being available for recognition reality shining as the nearest immediate self, the very meaning, substance of the substantive I. As the very truth of I, reality is there. That's why Sakshat Bhati. The word Sakshat implies this much. Sakshat Bhati. Where Kutra Bhati, Bhati understood. Kutra Bhati. Upanishad means it was said, Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam. Upanishad it was said, Guhayam Nihitam. Kutra Nihitam, Guhayam Nimitam. Upanishad would have said. But here Bhattadaji says, Guru Pavanapure Bhati. Guru Pavanapure Bhati. So it is this Brahma Tattvam which is very much shining in the shrine of, in the temple, you know. In Guruvayur temple, Krishna is available for recognition. Brahma Tattvam alone is in the form of Krishna in the temple of Guruvayur. But here again, what is this temple? Guru Pavanapuram. Here another meaning is given. The word Guruhu. Guruhu eva Bhagavaneva Guruhu. Gurureva Pavanapure Bhati. The whole physical body is said to be the Pavanapuram. Pavanaha, the 5 physiological, 1 vital air governing 5 different functions, involved in 5 different functions, governing 5 different systems, is very much there in this physical body, filling this body, indwelling this body. Therefore, the body is called Pavanapuram, okay, an abode of Pavana. So, Pavanapure Bhati, it is very much available here within this body, where within the body, in one's own mind, Bhagavan is available for recognition. One meaning. Another meaning is, the word Guru stands for the gross body, Sthulam. Pavanaha stands for Sukshma Shariram. So, within this body, mind, sense complex, Sthula Sukshma Sharire, Sharirayoho. Okay. Within this body, mind, sense complex, in the mind itself, as very self, as the very content of I, as the truth of I, as essential nature of every individual, this Param Brahma Tattvam is always available for recognition. That is why it is Jananam Bhagyam. Imagine if the reality is somewhere else far from you, very difficult to get. If it does not shine, it is difficult for you to get. Always Bhati is shining. All that I need to do is, I have to make effort to recognize it, because it is always shining. It is not hidden, it is not covered, in fact it is non-coverable reality. Okay, Nirvanam Brahma, non-coverable reality. Why non-coverable? Nirvanam means what? Non-coverable. Why it is non-coverable? Because all pervasive, spatially limitless, object-wise limitless, time-wise limitless, such a reality cannot be covered by anything. So only a time-bound object or a spatially limited object alone can be covered by something. Whereas here Bhagavan, as a very truth, being free from spatial limitation, it is absolutely non-coverable. The non-coverability of reality alone is said to be what? Nirvanam Brahma. The expression Nirvanam Brahma means Bhagavan Nirvanam, non-coverable. That is why it is non-coverable means Bhati, Sada Bhati, always is available for recognition. If I am not able to recognize it, the problem is with my mind, Antahkaram, with me, not with Brahma Tattvam. That's why Brahma Tattvam Bhati Jana Hanta Jananam Bhagyam. It's a great fortune of people that such a Brahma Tattvam Bhati. Who is Guruvayur Krishnan here? Who is Guruvayur Appan here? Sakshat Param Brahma. Okay, Brahma Swarupam, Bhagavat Swarupam is beautifully presented in this very opening verse. I would like to tell you one more thing. Even the word Krishna, we are going to see later on, we'll come across that word when our Krishna's naming ceremony will be there. Then why Krishna is given a name as Krishna? Not any other name. So Krishna, the name Bhagavan, when he was born as Krishna, he was given a name Krishna. Why? Because Akarshati Sarvani Manamsi iti Krishna. Aghakarshi, he takes away all the papams, all the sins. Aghakarshi, Papakarshi. Iti, Papa Akarshi. So Akarshi means what? Akarshati iti Krishna. Sarvani Manamsi Akarshati. If you analyze this word, of course we say Bhagavan Papani Harati iti Haraha Harihi, because so many meanings are there, words are there. Bhagavan is called Haraha as Shiva. Bhagavan also called Harihi. Papani Harati Dukkham Harati iti Harihi Haraha. But here Bhagavan Krishna is called Krishna because Sarvani Manamsi Akarshati iti api. Because Bhagavan as the very truth attracts all the mind towards itself. Oh, attracts means what? What do you mean by saying attracting? It is not like any beautiful flower or beautiful woman attracting something else. Here attraction means it's a choicelessly attracts. How? Because Bhagavan as the very reality is of the nature of fullness, happiness. Therefore, if you ask this question, who is the one who does not want happiness here? Who does not want happiness? The entire humanity. See, happiness is one thing which is sought after by all people of all times, of all places. People who lived before us, people who live now, people who are going to come in future. Who will say, I don't want happiness? I don't mind being unhappy for some time, Will anybody say that? A Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu, who will say that? No human being, irrespective of what one's nationality is, what one's culture is, what one's lifestyle is, what one's position is. Possessions are irrespective of what a person is, what a person has, does not have. What is one thing that is sought after by all people of all places of all times is happiness. That is why happiness is something which attracts all the minds. That is why Krishna is a personification of Ananda, happiness. That is why we say what? Krishna means all attractive. What is all attractive? Happiness. So happiness is all attractive. All attractive means, so Krishna means what? All attractive. Is it clear now? That is why A is equal to B is equal to C. A is equal to C. So Krishna means all attractive happiness. Why? That is very Swarupam. Very Swarupam. Today I just thought, it came to my mind. I want to share that with you. Okay. So here, the Tavad Bhati Hanta Jananam Bhagyam. Therefore here, who is this Bhagavan here? Bhagavan is another than Sakshat Param Brahma, which is of this Swarupam, which is of this nature, which is my own Swarupam. The Sakshat Bhati, the word Sakshat implies the fact that reality of the whole cosmos obtaining as one's own Swarupam is implied by the expression Sakshat. Okay, Sakshat, why Sakshat? Okay, that Brahma Tattvam obtaining as one's own Swarupam. is implied by the term sakshat. Sakshat bhati. This is the content of the first verse. Now, we'll move on to the second verse also. Next week onwards, I'll be much, I won't be repeating it again. I repeated today purposely because many of them have joined today because it happens to be the second class. The second verse, Yevam durlabhyavastunnyapi sulabhataya hastalabdhe yadanyat tanva vacha dhiyava bhajati bata janaha kshudrataiva sputeyam yete tavadvayantu sthiratara manasa vishwapida pahatyai nisseshatmanamenam gurupavanapure hanta bhagyanjananam. I come back again. Evan durlabhyavastunyapi sulabhataya hastalabdhe yadanyat tanva vacha dhiyava bhajati bata janaha kshudrataiva sputeyam yete tavadvayantu sthiratara manasa vishwapida pahatyai nisseshatmanamenam gurupavana puradhishamevashrayamaha. So here, I'll repeat it again, just for the sake of newcomers. Yevan durlabhyavastunnyapi sulabhataya hastalabdhe yadanyat tanva vacha dhiyava bhajati bata janaha kshudrataiva sputeyam yete tavadvayantu sthiratara manasa vishwapida pahatyai nisseshatmanamenam gurupavana puradhishamevashrayamaha. Now, the second verse, how does Bhattadri begin? It is evam. Evam means what? In this manner. In which manner? In the manner described in the first verse. Evam durlabhya vastunyapi durlabhya vastuni api. What is Brahma Tattvam? This Brahma Tattvam, this absolute reality implied by the term Brahman is durlabhyam. Durlabhyam vastu. No, very rare vastu. Very difficult to get this vastu. Why it is rare? Why it is rare? Because there's nothing which is like, there's no second thing which is like this Brahma vastu, which is limitless, which is a source of happiness. There's nothing which is a source of happiness like this Brahma vastu. The only source of happiness, the only source of all knowledge, the only source of protection, the only source of security is this Brahma vastu. Therefore, it is very rare. And not only that, one more thing you have to understand, durlabhyam, because it is abstract, subtlest. Therefore, it is not easy to get this. Durlabhyam, very difficult to get, very rare to get. Durlabhyam vastu. It's a rare thing and very difficult to get. Durlabhyam vastu. Even though this Brahma Tattvam is durlabhya vastuni api. So locative case. Durlabhyam vastu, nominative. Durlabhya vastuni api. Even though it is durlabhya vastu, still we are fortunate because there's a fortune. Hastalabdhe is available at hand. Hastalabdhe is all available at hand. A rare, precious vastu, reality, the only source of happiness, the only source of freedom is available at hand. Hastalabdhe. Okay, hastalabdhe. Durlabhya vastuni api hastalabdhe. Yad. Okay, anyat. The people, what do people do here? It says, anyat bhajati. People in general, they pursue other things. Anyat bhajati means people pursue other things. Instead of making efforts to discover this truth, obtaining as one's own swarupam, they make efforts, they pursue other things. How do they pursue? They pursue other things means what? They do so many things. They pursue other things. How? By doing karma. They do a lot of karma. They do a lot of activities. They involve themselves in so many things. So, vacha, we say, Yevam durlabhya vastunyapi sulabhataya hastalabdhe. Durlabhyam vastu brahmatattvam parantu hastalabdhe sulabhataya hastalabdhe. It is it's available at hand, easily available at hand. Hastalabdhe yadanyat tanva vacha dhiyava. So tanva, tanuhu is a body, ukaranta shabda. So what is instrumental case? Tanva, physically, okay, by using one's physical body, by physically, vacha, orally, then dhiya, intellectually or mentally. So by using the body, using the speech, using one's intellect, so physically, orally, intellectually, all three possible karmas are mentioned here. Okay, what all can a person use to do karma? One can use one's physical body, one can use one's mind, one can use one's speech, isn't it? So by physical, oral, mental activities, by doing all sorts of karma, now this janaha is a singular word, but says Bahuchanam also. It implies people in general. Janaha bhajati, people pursue. The sentence is not janaha bhajanti. Janaha bhajati, people pursue other things. Anyat means what? Other things. People pursue other things by doing activities physically, orally, mentally. Which means people are searching for moksha, happiness as a result of karma. People search for happiness as a result of karma. That is why they do so many things. So physical activities, oral activities, mental activities, they think all the time, what should I do? How should I do? They think. And then thinking, then they speak. They also do. Physically they do, they speak, and for that they also think. So all the efforts, the mental, physical, oral, all activities and all their efforts are for results of actions, which means they're searching for happiness, they're searching for the ends accomplishable as results of actions. But actually what they're really searching for is not available as a result of action. That is why Bhattadaji is saying here, Durlabhya vastuni api sulabhataya hastalabdhe. Durlabhya vastuni sulabhataya hastalabdhe api. Api should go here. Api should go with the sulabhataya hastalabdhe. Okay? Durlabhya vastuni sulabhataya hastalabdhe api. Even though this rare vastu, the only source of happiness, the only source of all knowledge, obtaining as one's own swarupam also, easily available at hand, Available at hand means what? The reality being obtaining as one's own self, as the very truth of I is said to be being available at hand. Reality is available at hand means reality is very much there as one's own self. What you are searching for is yourself. What you are really wanting is yourself. This reality being available for recognition as your own self, that is, it's like getting anything right in your hand. What you want to have is available readily at your own hand. So hastalabdhe api, okay, as if it is available in your hand, it's available at your hand. Reality is Brahma Tattvam is very much there as your own Swarupam. Still, people not knowing, not making efforts to discover this reality and to claim that reality as one's own Swarupam. Instead of that, people, what they do, they search for this happiness as a result of actions by doing physical, oral, mental activities. So, yam kshudrata eva. What is this? Yam kshudrata, yam sputa, yam kshudrata eva sputa. Yam sputa, this is clear, is very clear. What is clear here? Kshudrata eva. It is purely because of their ignorance. Kshudrata eva. Therefore, if they know, they would not have done it. Yam kshudrata eva. Whereas Bhattacharya is saying, next line he says, Yete tavadvayantu. Whereas Varapa, Vayam, Yete tavadvayam. These, we, your devotees, Ete tavadvayam sthiratara manasa. Sthiratara manasa. No, sthiram manaha, firm mind. Sthirataram manaha, more firm mind. With the more firmness of mind. Which means what? With the firmness of mind. With the much more firmness of mind. Sthiratara manasa. We have no doubts about it. We are very clear. Vayam ete tavadvayam tu. Sthiratara manasa, with the more firmness of mind, with much greater firmness of mind, sthiratara manasa, Guru Pavana Puradhisham eva ashtayamaha. See, for a person to become totally committed to Bhagavan, to rely only upon Bhagavan also, one needs clarity and strength. So what he says, Bhattacharya is saying, Ete tavad vayam tu sthiratara manasa, with the greater firmness of mind, Guru Pavana Puradhisham eva ashrayamaha. We rely only on Bhagavan. We surrender only to Bhagavan. We take refuge only in Bhagavan. We depend only upon Bhagavan. Ashrayamaha. Guru Pavana Puradhisham eva ashrayamaha. We depend only upon Bhagavan for security, for happiness. We are not dependent on anything else in the world other than Bhagavan. See, only when people are not very clear, okay, what am I searching for and where is it available? Where should I search for? If these are not very clear, one must be very clear what I'm searching for is moksha. What I'm searching for is fullness, happiness. One must be very clear about it. If that clarity is there, and he should know where is it available also. If a person is exposed to the Shastram, and he will know how to accomplish it, where is it available, what am I searching for, where should I search for, how should I search for. What am I searching for, where should I search for, how should I search for. He will know. What I'm searching for is moksha. And I should search for the moksha as my own Swarupam. To discover that, okay, Swarupam, moksha, obtaining as my own Swarupam, I should not search anywhere else I should search for that happiness as my own self. And to discover that happiness, moksha is my own swarupam, how? What should I do? I should be given to the study of the Shastra Pramanam with the help of the teacher. So, Shastram Sharanam Gacchami, Gurum Sharanam Gacchami. That must be the attitude. So, with the help of the Shastram and teacher, and when I search for the truth, obtaining as my own Swarupam, I accomplish the absolute end. This is what Shastram says. Where these people, Kshudrata, Iyam Sputa Kshudrata Eva, is very clear. Is only because of this lack of understanding. They do what? They search for not knowing what they're searching for is moksha. And they search for moksha as what? As a result of an action. That's why they do so many other activities. Tanva, vacha, dhiyava, anyat bhajati. People pursue other things by doing physical, mental, oral activities, not knowing what they're searching for, where they should search for, how they should search for. Okay. But Bhattacharya says, whereas Guvarappa, ete tavad vayantu sthiratara manasa. We have no problem with the convinced, much more convinced mind. Sthiratara manasa. We are convinced. It's called Shastre Shabda, Guru Shabda, Bhagavati Shabda. No, here Shraddha is what? Total commitment is, commitment must be to the pursuit of jnana. Commitment must be to the Bhagavan. Then sthiratara manasa, with absolutely convinced mind, sthiratara manasa, the firmness of mind, Gurupavana Puradhishameva Ashrayamaha. We depend only upon Bhagavan, not on anything else in the world for happiness and security. Sthiratara manasa, for what? Vishwa Pida Apahatyai. Ete tavadvayantu sthiratara manasa Vishwa Pida Apahatyai Nisseshatmanamenam Gurupavana Puradhishameva Ashrayamaha. So we depend on Bhagavan Gurupavana Puradhishaha, one who resides in this Guru Pavana Puram, and who is Nisseshatma. Nisseshatma means absolute self, who alone is in the form of everything. This Guru Pavana Puradhishaha, this Bhagavan, who is essentially nothing but Param Brahma Chaitanyam. That Brahma is what? Nissesha Atma means the one who alone is in the form of all everything. We surrender to, we are dependent on that Bhagavan who alone is all, who alone is everything, who is in the form of everything. Nissesha Atmanam Gurupavana Puradhishameva Ashrayamaha. For what? Vishwapida Apahatyai. For what? Vishwapida Apahatyai. Here, the word Pida, the word Vishwam has two meanings. One meaning is all. Vishwapida Apahatyai. Apahatihi is a Strilinga Shabda. So Apahatihi, removal, elimination, eradication. So for elimination, removal of all forms of afflictions, pains. Pida is a pain, affliction. So Vishwa Pida Apahatyai, for the removal of all afflictions, we depend only upon Bhagavan, who alone is in the form of everything. One meaning. Which means for the total elimination of all forms of afflictions, we must rely only on Bhagavan, not on anything else in the world. Because what is sought after by us is everlasting, permanent sukham. We are not interested in temporary sukham. Okay, we are interested in permanent happiness, permanent freedom from limitations. So everything else in the world is what? Impermanent, time bound. So everything else in the world is time bound. All rituals are time bound. All actions are time bound. All the results of actions are time bound. And all forms, names, and functions are time bound. All objects of pleasure are time bound. There's nothing which is not time bound in this universe except Paramatma Brahma. Therefore, what is timeless? The only truth which is timeless is Bhagavan here. The timeless Bhagavan, obtaining him of reality alone, can bless us with the timeless everlasting freedom. Therefore, we are laying only upon Bhagavan, not on anything else in the world. Ete tavad vayantu sthiratara manasa vishwapida apahatte Nisseshatmanam yenam, this Gurupavana Puradhishameva Ashtayamaha. Vishwapida apahatti, another meaning, for elimination of all forms of afflictions, another meaning is Vishwasya Pida apahatti. So all afflictions of the world also. For elimination of afflictions of the world, for all forms of afflictions, two meanings. For the elimination of all difficulties and hardships and afflictions of all people of the entire world also, we only seek Bhagavan's grace. Only we depend on Bhagavan only, not on anything else. So that's two meanings we have to remember. So for elimination of afflictions, all forms of afflictions that I go through in life, and also for the elimination of afflictions of the world also, crisis of the world also, we only depend upon Bhagavan. We seek Bhagavan's grace only. See again, in the Sanatana Dharma, in the Vaidika Dharma always teaches this, Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. So non-hurting is the exalt of the values. Now here, and when we think, we cannot think of anybody in the suffering of anybody. We cannot think of harming others also. Not supposed to. So here, Vishwapida Apahati means when other people are suffering also, that suffering, other people's sufferings, afflictions, pains also will be our pains. Therefore, the prayer is, we never say, let me be happy. All worlds be happy. Lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. That is our prayer. That's what here also, Vishwapida apahatte, for the universal good, for the elimination of all universal problems also, we are dependent on Bhagavan only. For the elimination of all afflictions I go through also, we are dependent on Bhagavan only. These are the two meanings we have to see here. So Bhattacharya is saying, we are not relying upon karma phalam for moksha. We are relying only on jnanam for moksha. And the jnanam also what? Knowledge of Bhagavan in the form of the truth. And which is hastalabdha, it is available at hand, means what? Bhagavan is available as our own Swarupam. So Bhagavan as the reality being available for understanding as our own Swarupam, nearest self alone, is meant by this expression Hastalabdhe. Hastalabdhe means what? Bhagavan is come and sitting in our hand or what? It's not literally, we should not take the meaning literally. What it implies is Bhagavan is very much available as our own Swarupam. That is what is meant by the expression Hastalabdhe. Easily accessible. Bhagavan is always easily accessible, available as the very Swarupam. So our effort must be, we cannot complain that Bhagavan is not available for recognition. Bhagavan is very far away. Oh my God, how can... No, we cannot even complain. We have to only see, am I making, what sort of effort I should make? What should I do? How should I do? How I can, access Bhagavan is available. How can I have him? How can I recognize him? Which means, where is the problem? I should discover. I must make efforts to prepare my mind such a way that I should be able to claim Bhagavan, obtaining as my own Swarupam, as myself. That's why Bhattacharya is saying, we have no doubt. Evam durlabhya vastunyapi sulabhataya hastalabdhe yadanyati tanva vacha dhiya va bhajati bata janaha kshudrataiva sphuteyam yete tavadvayantu sthiratara manasa Vishwapīdāpahatyai Nisseshatmanamenam Gurupavanapuradhishamevashrayamaha. Sattvam yattat parabhyama parikalanato nirmalantena tavad Sattvam yattat parabhyama parikalanato nirmalantena tavad bhotair bhutendriyaiste vapuriti bahushashruyate vyasavakyam tatsvachatvadyadachadita parasukhachidgarbhanirbhasarupam. One second. Something is clicking here. Okay. So, two verses are very clear, isn't it? Move on to the third verse now. Sattvam yattat parabhyama parikalanato nirmalantena tavad Sattvam yattat parabhyama parikalanato nirmalantena tavad. I'll repeat twice so you can repeat after me. Sattvam yattat parabhyama parikalanato nirmalantena tavad Sattvam yattat parabhyama parikalanato nirmalantena tavad bhotair bhutendriyaiste vapuriti bahushashruyate vyasavakyam bhotair bhutendriyaiste vapuriti bahushashruyate vyasavakyam bhotair bhutendriyaiste vapuriti bahushashruyate vyasavakyam tatsvachatvadyadachadita parasukhachidgarbhanirbhasarupam tatsvachatvadyadachadita parasukhachidgarbhanirbhasarupam tasmin dhanyaramante shrutimati madhure sugrahe vigrahete tatsvachatvadyadachadita parasukhachidgarbhanirbhasarupam tasmin dhanyaramante shrutimati madhure sugrahe vigrahete sattvam yattat para भ्यामपरिकलनतो निर्मलन्तेन तावत् भूतैर्भूतेन्द्रियैस्ते वपुरिति बहुशः श्रूयते व्यासवाक्यम् तत्स्वच्छत्वाद्यदच्छादित परसुखचिद्गर्भनिर्भासरूपम् तस्मिन् धन्यारमन्ते श्रुतिमतिमधुरे सुग्रहे विग्रहेते. So, in this third verse, it's a very interesting verse. You know why? Bhagavan's Rupam and Swarupam both are revealed here. Swarupam and Rupam. So, what is Bhagavan's Swarupam? Bhagavan's Swarupam alone is highlighted here, but that Swarupam is available where? As the Rupam. What is Bhagavan's Rupam? That we'll see later on. But he says finally, last sentence, last word. Achadita para sukha chid garbha nirbhasa rupam. Yad achadita para sukha chid garbha nirbhasa rupam. This is Bhagavan's Rupam. Okay. Chid garbha. Chit means consciousness. Chidgarbha nirbhasa rupam. So ever shining, the pure consciousness, which is of the nature of fullness. Parasukha. Parasukha chidgarbha nirbhasa rupam. What is that rupam? Tasmin is also not achaditam, which is not covered by anything. Achadita parasukha chidgarbha nirbhasa rupam. Why? Because of its purity, swachhatvat. So Bhagavan's Swarupam is nothing but pure consciousness, which is of the nature of limitlessness, is swachhatvat because of its absolute purity. It is not tainted by anything else. We'll see that. And in such Bhagavan's Swarupam, dhanyaha ramante. We'll see the whole explanation in the next class. And following Wednesday, I think we'll be much faster. Okay, we can be faster also from next class. So we'll start from the third verse to the next class. So here, dhanyaha ramante. Dhanyaha, again, fortunate people. Dhanyaha ramante. Only fortunate people revel in Bhagavan's Swarupam. Okay. Bhagavan's Swarupam is that, such Swarupam. Bhagavan is of such Swarupam, and only fortunate people revel in such Swarupam. Dhanyaha ramante. Who are the fortunate people who are able to travel in Bhagavan's Swarupam? Swachhatvat. Achadita parasukha chidgarbha nirbhasa rupam. Tasmin dhanyaha ramante. And such Bhagavan's Swarupam, what is it? Shrutimati madhuram. Shrutimati madhure sugrahe vigrahe dhanyaha ramante. Is Shruti madhuram? It is Shruti madhuram rupam and Mati madhuram rupam. It pleases the mind, it pleases the ears. Bhagavan's Swarupam pleases mind and ears. How can Bhagavan's Swarupam please the mind? How can Bhagavan's Rupam please the ears? What does Bhattadri really mean by saying pleasing the mind and the ears? Bhagavan's Rupam, Bhagavan's Swarupam pleases the mind, pleases the ears, our ears, pleases our ears. How? What does he mean by that? So those things we'll see the next class. Okay? So that we'll start from the third verse next class. But how many of you haven't heard at all? How many of you have already used to expose this chanting? You put it, just you can show your hand, so I will know how much time to spare for chanting. How many of you already know the chanting?
Don't know much. We're just learning.
I know Ji, Veena Shanmugam. Little bit.
Know about it, and we have been listening, but don't know how to really divide it words and chant.
Okay.
So we prefer you telling.
Veena Shanmugam knows, it seems. Okay.
Yeah, bit.
I can also chant to some extent.
Okay. Now what I'm saying, I thought because our time is 1 hour 30 minutes here in the class. Actually, I was given 1 hour time, but I've taken 1.5 hours time. Usually I do longer classes. So what I'll do, I'll spend 15 minutes exclusively for the chanting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. But still, see, for example, many people chant because our bhakti, people learn to chant. For example, even I showed you in the first verse itself, Sandrananda vabodhatmakam anupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam. You can't have passed near kaladeshavadibhyam. No way. Kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam. Kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam. But where the past must be, that is much we must make use of. That's why I'll spare definitely some 15 minutes, 20 minutes I'll spare for 20 minutes I'll spare for chanting. So that we can cover more verses. Every time, hereafter what we'll do, every time we'll do 5 verses of chanting. Unfoldment, and I spend 1 hour, 15 minutes, 1 hour definitely fully for only unfolding the verses. Then you can learn better. Okay?
Okay, Ji.
Okay, this is good.
Om Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Because
Thank you very, very much, Ma.
Thanks a lot, Ji. Thanks a lot. It was very nice.
Thank you.
Awesome it was.
Om
Thank you so much.
Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Guru Pavana Pureshaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Krishnaya. Om Narayana 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 Artha Vishanna Shithilascha Bhitaha Ghoreshu cha vyadhishu vartamanaha Sankirtya Narayana Shabdamatram Vimukta Dukkha Sukhino Bhavantu. So may all those people, Artaha, distressed people, Vishannaha, sad, grieving people, Shithilaha, emotionally shattered people, Ghoreshu Vyadhishu Vartamanaha, were afflicted by severe illnesses, ailments. All these people, Vimukta Dukkhaha Bhavantu, become free from all forms of afflictions and may all become happy. That's our prayer. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. सर्वं कृष्णार्पणमस्तु. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.